So I've got these lovely slabs and I've been meaning to make a table. And not just any table. I know I've made 1 or 2 tables before. But what I want to do with this is make a river table. We've all seen those, yeah? There's quite a few of them about. But obviously I want to make mine a little bit different, so I'm not too sure what or how to kind of make them different. Initially I had a kind of a plan of making just one big table. However, I'm thinking now that I make maybe 2 smaller tables. And today I'm going to be using this glass cast resin from these guys. Got to check this stuff out, it's pretty cool. And I got hold of some of this stuff because this seems to be the stuff to use if you're going to be doing large pours. And I'm really quite excited to see how this turns out. These guys should also be coming to Maker Central as well, so they're going to have some demos there or some pieces that they've already made. And obviously some of their glass cast resin, which would be pretty cool. So, this is the wood that I've picked up. And got this on eBay actually. Nice slabs, pretty cool chunky pieces of wood, really nice features in there as well. So, and again, this could be one big coffee table, so I may well change my mind back again yet, I don't know, once I've kind of like got them out and sort of worked out what we want to do. But I'm thinking that we chop it in half and make 2 smaller ones. There'll be smaller coffee tables, but pretty funky ones.
Derek.
I've got all the glass cast stuff that I need from these guys. Tape, the sheeting that you need to use, obviously the resin and everything else. This is going to be quite challenging. Never done this one before, so I've no idea how this is going to turn out, but stick with me, because this could be funny. So we're going to keep this dust for later, because I've got a funny feeling we're going to need it.
Dust!
Okay, so we've got now our 2 smaller tables, although they're still kind of large for a smaller table, if that makes any sense. So I'm not too sure whether to take a bit off. It almost seems like a bit of a waster if I cut more off it. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a large, small table. That's what I'm trying to get at. I wasn't kind of imagining it to be still this big. So I can either cut it down the middle there, but then that's going to look a bit of a weird table, isn't it? That's going to be more of a rectangular kind of... I was thinking more of a square table, but to do that I'm going to need to chop a piece off of here all the way along to probably, well, all the way along there, and probably a bit off that end. And then maybe cut a bit off over. That's going to waste a lot of the table though. Or, I'll tell you what, we'll make the tables as they are now, like this. And then, once we've got the resin in and we've sort of like sanded it all down, we'll then work out what kind of shape table we're going to go with. Yeah, that's right. Maybe we could make it into a round one. Or just a really weird one. Yeah, good idea, Nick. Right, let's get on and make these bases for these pieces of wood to sit in. Okay, so we've got this stuff here which is called polypropylene plastic sheet, and this is from also Glass Cast Easy Composites. I'll leave a link below for these guys. So you can see all the stuff that I bought from them. This is really cool stuff. So this is going to form the base that we're going to put these pieces of wood in. So what I've got now is I've just placed these pieces of wood on top of this polypropylene sheet. And as you can see, this is really shiny stuff. The resin does not stick to this, so this is perfect for the job. So I've also cut up some strips here as well of the same sheet, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hot glue these all the way around to make a barrier, because we don't want this resin to leak out. So I'm going to put it like that, and then up against there like that. Seal that up tight with hot glue. And then what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to got this batten here as well, and that's just going to put that all the way around it, just to give the sides a bit of support. So I'm going to do that now and get all that ready, and then this will be almost ready then for a pour, which will be quite exciting. Not too sure what to put in it yet, but we'll find out. So I've now sealed this up, so it's got all the hot glue all the way around, and as you can see I've sealed it all up, and I've put this batten all the way around it as well, just to sort of push against here and just give it a bit more security, so that this is, you know, not going to pop off for any reason. So that kind of goes all the way around. It's not, you know, the neatest job in the world, but it's good enough. Happy days. It's good enough for what we need. So there we go. And I've also put some more of this tape around here, just in case that the hot glue doesn't hold for some reason, and then this doesn't hold for some reason, and then you've got this as a backup as well. So hopefully if it does seep through, it just can't get past this tape anyway, so I've got that in there as well. Okay, so we are almost ready to do our first pour. What we need to do is we need to pick a colour, and what we've got here is quite a few different colours from Glass Cast.
So we've got the blue, we've got red, we've got another blue, we've got yellow, black, purple, brown, and turquoise, orange, and green.
Okay, so now I'm not gonna just put a pigment colour into this table, because, you know, there's lots of river tables that have been made, but I want to do something different, and hopefully something that someone else hasn't done. Yep, it's metal. Or swarf, as they call it. Look, listen to this. Now, how cool is this going to look inside this table, mixed in with a colour? I reckon that's going to look pretty awesome. So I'm going to go, because we've got two tables. We've got one set up here, one down there. Haven't set that one up yet, but I will. So I reckon we're going to go with an orange. I think an orange is going to look kind of cool. Right, let's get mixing up some of this resin. Okay, so this is the Easy Composites Glass Cast 50. Now you can mix this up by weight, as it says there, or by volume. Now what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to mix it up by, maybe by weight. So that basically means 100 of this and 45 of this.
I've also done is I've made up these little battens and I've covered them in this flash release tape, just in case any of the resin gets stuck on it and it's not going to stick to these. So we're going to use these to hold down these pieces of wood, because obviously just in case they float up, we don't want that happening. So I'm going to put these on top, over here, and here, and over here, and here. And then we need a batten going across here, and then we're going to clamp them down with some clamps.
Okay, so this is what we've got. I have no idea if this is going to work out or not, but I'm hoping it will, and I'm hoping it look a little bit different. So right, let's get this poured in. Okay, so this is what we've got so far. So what's happening here is the metal shavings are obviously, you know, floating down to the bottom, which is kind of not really what I kind of wanted. Now in hindsight, thinking about this now, what I should have done is actually flip this table over and filled it up upside down, because the finish effect would have been all of these shavings on the surface. But we can do that with this one, so we've got that one to do anyway. But what I'm going to do is, I think if I put some more in, pack it right up, and then I think we should still get a similar effect. Okay, so this is what this looks like at the moment. So I've had to do this a couple of times because I made a few mistakes here, and the mistakes are this. Yeah, unfortunately, it leaked out. My attempts to try to stop it from leaking, I kept putting more tape in there, and I've managed to seal it now, but I did not seal this properly in the first place. So I came back and this was all gone. So rather than basically show you the whole process again, I've just basically mixed up some more and filled it back up. So that's what it looks like at the moment. It's not quite dry just yet, but it's looking quite cool. I kind of like these metal shavings in this. This is going to look quite awesome, I think. So definitely a mistake made there. As you see, it's leaked out all round the side. What made so much mess. And it's also gone underneath as well, and it's all over here as well. I mean, yeah, a bit of a nightmare. So this time, obviously, we're going to make this other table. Now, I've really secured this one up, I think. So I've gone quite a lot all the way around the edges this time, and what I've done is I've taken this out, and I've also done the inside as well. I'm pretty confident that this is sealed correctly this time, but I am going to put some of this flash tape around here as well, just in case anything comes out. But I have, you know, I've gone over this a few times, and on the inside, all up the edges, up this edge, and I'll tell you what, resin will just find its way out at wherever, really. It really does. It just finds any gap possible. So you need to make sure that you seal this up and don't make the same mistakes that I've done. Also, we discussed about this scenario with this metal. Now what I want to do is I'd like to have the metal on the top, but as you can see, it all floated, you know, to the bottom up there. So what I've done here is I've flipped this over, and I'm going to fill the resin table up upside down. So our top of the table is obviously underneath. So when we put this metal in this one, which we're going to do again, but I'm going to do a different colour, I'm going to get a different effect, I think, from the top. I hope. So this is ready now, apart from my putting a bit of more tape on, to fill up again. Second time for the second table in a different colour. Not too sure what colour I'm going to go for yet, but we will find out soon. What do we think? Do we reckon that this is going to be alright in there? That does actually look quite dark, but when it's in there, it actually comes out quite clear, if you kind of get me. Right, let's go and put this in with the shavings and see what we get from it. Quite a lot of this stuff. Picked this up from a friend. Look at it, loads of it. I can make loads of stuff with this. So I'm going to stick some of this inside now. It's all going to float to the bottom anyway. So there's our swarf in there. Now we need to pour the resin. Wish me luck. Although it looks quite dark on camera, actually it is sort of fairly clear. You can see right through it. So when you look at it like that, it looks quite clear. Look at that. It's like a swarf worm. But well, let's knock up some more and get this filled up. I'm looking forward to seeing how this turns out. Okay, this has now been left for a few days and I reckon we are done. This has taken a couple more days to set than normal kind of resin. I don't know if that's just the type of resin or because it's quite a large pour, but I mean it's dried pretty nicely though. Look at that, it's pretty solid. It's a little bit low, but I think that's okay. I filled this up a couple of times actually off camera, but this is, don't forget, this is the underneath of the project. But so we're gonna have to demold this now. But it's held up well. My second attempt to this project has held up. The second one was good. The first one, not so good. So I'm gonna demold the first one first. This is this one up here, so this one's looking pretty cool. I'm liking that, but this is very sharp, so we're going to have to see if we can get this sanded down, and not too sure how this is going to turn out, but we'll soon find out. But this is solid now. So I'm going to get these out of these moulds now, and then we're going to start sanding this down, which is the exciting bit. Not. Okay, so there's one that we've taken out. It did take a little bit of bashing about, but it slipped off of that that sheeting really nicely, so it doesn't stick to that, and the tape, it doesn't stick to that either. But it's a little bit messy, but actually it's not too bad. I think we can definitely do something quite cool here. And then if you look underneath as well, see where the resin has kind of like gone underneath the table. It's actually quite cool actually. Left a really nice kind of like even resin layer all the way around. And then this is what I'm talking about with this, where it's gone all the way down to the bottom. I'm not too sure which one is going to look better or not actually, the underneath or the top. But you know, when we start sanding it, we'll find out. So that's what we got. I got to do quite a bit of sanding. So that's that one. Now I'm going to demold this one. Interesting. I reckon that might look quite funky. Okay, so this is the black one with the metal in it, which looks kind of cool. I like that kind of pattern there, so I'm hoping, and there's not going to be a lot of sanding down to do with that one, but that's going to give a different effect. That's actually really cool, look at that. That's actually going to give a quite a different effect than this one, I think, because this one we did front ways up, so this is going to have a different look, but that's going to be quite cool. I reckon that's going to be good. So what we're going to do now is quite a lot of sanding back. We've demolded these, so let's get on and do that. Okay, for this I'm going to start off by using 60 grit. Okay, that's the underneath of the first one we did. Sorry about the light shining in it. Why is the light shining in it? Why is the light shining in there? Oh, it's a strip light, isn't it? Okay. That's because it's shiny. So, I'm probably just going to give this a light sand down, and then we can then get that ready for the legs. I have done a lot of sanding on this. This has actually come out quite well, really. I was quite surprised how this sanded back. So the metal in there hasn't really caused any issues. There's nothing sticking out or any lumps or anything like that. So it's pretty cool. So I've gone right back to 600 grit on this. Probably could do with a bit more sanding, but it's kind of a roughy kind of sort of table anyway. So I'm not going to go too mad with it. You know, it just looks as it does, really. You know, it's got a bit of character with it, with some like indentations and stuff, because obviously it goes all the way around. You've got all the, I've left all the live edges around here and stuff, so yeah, it's pretty cool. I kind of like it. So what I'm going to do, I'm not too sure, but I'm thinking what I'm going to do is coat it with resin again on the top to make that the finish. I haven't done that before, and I think that might be what I want to do, because I always like to try and do something different than what I did before. So kind of not, it's not big enough to be a coffee table really, but it kind of could be. Stop waffling on it. Anyway, so that is ready now for the resin, and I'm going to coat that up. But I'm going to need to look at the other one. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the other one or not, because this took absolutely ages to sand back. I mean, hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And the other one has got quite a lot of resin on it, and I'm not too sure what to do with it at the moment, because we did it upside down and the whole table is coated in resin. So that all really needs to come off in order to get our kind of finish like this. So I don't really know what to do with it. Another sort of rookie mistake, but there we go. But once we've done the resin on this will be ready for putting my emblem on, which I'll stick somewhere in the corner, and then the legs. So let's go and have a look at the other one first. This is our second table that we did slightly differently, where we've got all of the metal shavings on the top, which I kind of like that. It does look kind of cool. However, really what we do need to do is grind this back a bit and get rid of this resin that's on here, because obviously we've got all this metal shavings in here and we don't really want that. So I'm going to use the grinder for that with this big abrasive pad on it, which will get it off fairly quickly, but it is going to cause an absolute carnage of mess. Okay, this has taken absolutely ages, creating such a mess, and the batteries are running out in the Makita this every 5 minutes. Again, another mistake where I've got too much resin underneath and I don't really need all that on there, so I'm gonna have to try and get it out. So I've had another thought. I'm gonna try and use this to cut through the resin. Now, ideally, I could do with having a sled.
Derek.
So I can slide this up and down and I can take nice fine cuts. But I don't have a sled, and at the moment I don't really have any wood that I can make it with. I know, it sounds strange, right? So I'm going to give this a go and see if I can just take the resin off with this. Might be a little bit easier and less messy. Coming up quite well with this technique, so I'm just going to take a little bit longer to get that bit finished, but yeah, we are almost there. And what I'm going to do is I am going to mix it up a little bit, because it is a little bit rough as you can see, but I think that's going to make it really funky looking anyway. It's going to make it look a little bit different. So I'm going to put a few grooves in it with this. We are going to sand it back a bit. Obviously it's not going to be that bumpy, but yeah, I reckon this is turning out alright, and much quicker and much less mess. Makita has done a great stern job taking the top of this off for me. Happy days. So this has made life a lot easier. This looks really wicked. Look at this. That is so awesome. I think I'm going to make a few more projects out of this swarf, because that is pretty cool, and that's not even finished yet. So it's taken off the top layer of this, which is really good. So what we're going to do now is just kind of like grind it back a bit with the grinder, just to get rid of the high spots, then start sanding this right back. Now that's going to take me quite some time still, but I've certainly knocked off a lot of time by using this. Yes, I know it would have been better using a sled. Ah, maybe not. But I don't have one, so right. I'm fearing that this might go into 2 parts, or either that, it's a really long video. So ready for a nice top coat of resin. Initially, I kind of thought that this way was maybe the better way, but now looking at this and looking at how cool this looks, that is just absolutely awesome. I love it. So hopefully, let's say what I would normally would put on here is some of this stuff, which is the Osmo oil, which, you know, I did on my last table, but again I want to try something different, so I'm going to coat this with the resin. So I'm going to use the glass cast resin again as well for this. I'm going to mix it up and just put a light coat of resin on top and all around the edges as well, and see how that's going to turn out. I reckon it's going to look pretty cool. So there's the first one done. Now this won't dry this shiny, so it will dry, you know, so that you can really sort of see it, and it'll be quite nice. Actually, it's turned out quite well, hasn't it? So far, so good. So it's going to take about 48 hours for that to cure. Maybe less actually, 24, because it's only a thin coat. So, but we're going to leave that now. So that's the first one done. That's not bad actually. I quite like that, especially with that metal in it. Right, so let's get on and do the other one. Okay, so this is the underneath of each table finished, so we just need to wait for these to dry, and then once they're dry we can stick the legs on and we will be done. Finally. Now that took ages. This project did take me a lot longer than I kind of thought. I love doing it, and I definitely love using this swarf. So I hope you enjoyed it. I definitely want to use this stuff again. I've got loads and loads of it, and I'm thinking about making definitely something else with it. I don't know if you've seen Peter Brown's Murder Bowl, but it's absolutely awesome. Check it out if you haven't, because he did a project with using this swarf, and it's pretty cool. I'll leave a link below for that, because it is really cool and definitely worth a watch. I got given this swarf quite some time ago now, actually, probably about a year ago, from a friend of mine, and I thought to myself that would make a cool project at some point, but I just never really got around to using it. And I wanted to do this river table for you guys, obviously using this glass cast product, which is really cool. And I think when you're doing these really big pours with these types of tables, and I think this stuff works perfectly for it. And I haven't really done a river table before. This is kind of a river metal table, I guess. And I definitely think it turned out pretty funky looking. Hey, handsome! So obviously did two, so you got the black one and the kind of orange one, but it's kind of more silver and gold, I think. Which kind of goes fairly well. I didn't really have much trouble sanding it down. I kind of did think that it wasn't really going to work, but actually turned out alright really with the sanding. I'm not convinced entirely about the resin finish, because it is quite shiny, and although I don't mind shiny stuff, I think maybe it would have been better with a different kind of finish, but I did that before and I wanted to try something different, so I went with the resin finish. It's okay, but it might be a little bit too shiny for my liking. Well, I'm certainly conscious that this has been a really long video, and I was debating or not whether or not to put it into 2 parts or not, but I thought I'd just run with it and go with it. It's probably about 40 minutes, maybe even 45 minutes long now. So I apologise for those of you that don't like long videos, but I know a lot of you do. And I hope that you've enjoyed watching it. It kind of makes up for not putting a video up last week, I guess. I am working on some other funky stuff for you guys. I don't know whether I get that up next Friday or not, I'm not sure, but I'm trying my best. But if you don't see a video up, please don't worry, I will be back. Please check out the links below, guys. There's a lot of useful and helpful information in there. I update my kit list, which is a load of kit that I've kind of compiled together for you, if you're interested in some of the things that I use and work with in my shop. And if you use those links, that helps support the channel. I've also opened up a Patreon account, so if you fancy supporting me over there, I would really appreciate it. I'm going to be doing a few exclusive pictures, maybe even some live streams. All those links are below. I'll also leave the links below for glass cast, which is easy composites. So if you fancy doing yourself your own river table, because all the kit I used is from there. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate all your support. Thank you so much for coming over to the channel, and welcome to my new subscribers. I hope you all stick around. We do some funky stuff on here, some waffles and bits and pieces. It's kind of a weird. You never really know what you're going to get with me, to be fair. But I try my best to entertain as much as I can. Thanks to all my old subscribers for sticking around. I hope you all have a fantastic, funky, fabulous weekend, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care!